I'm Kimberly, and this is Simply Living in a Small Town. Today is Tuesday, and I'm trying to get this done earlier today while I have some beautiful sunlight. I'm going to try to keep my momentum going here. I hope everyone is staying warm and staying safe. What is everybody working on? Is it cold where you're at? Let me know. I am very curious because we were having a really cold spell, and this weekend is supposed to be even worse, and I'm not looking forward to that. What I am looking forward to is tomorrow being 40 degrees. So one day at a time, literally. That's how I take everything and approach that day as needed, and that's the only thing we can do. Over Friday night into Saturday is supposed to get down to 4 degrees. Last night it got down to 6 overnight. Well, I say that it was like 6 degrees, I think 6 or 7 o'clock this morning. Very early. Happily, I can say it's 24 degrees now, which is exciting compared to 6 degrees. But this is supposed to be the warmest part of the day, which is again why I wanted to get this done, as well as the beautiful sun. I don't think it's coming across as bright as it actually is, but it's definitely nice and sunny yet out, and we probably only have another maybe hour of that or something, so we shall just dig into this. If you've been watching, you know that I went to a thrift store last week, my daughter and I, that we go to off and on. We hadn't gone for quite a while till here a while back. And I kind of showed you around. That was before Christmas. They have actually taken the store. They've actually taken like all their Christmas stuff out of there. They have tons ways of Christmas stuff. And I used to like the fact that they had Christmas stuff all year long in there, which was nice because for me, after our house burned down in 2020, well, at the end of 2020, we no longer had any Christmas decor at all, any decorations, period. And so for the first 2 or 3 years, especially once we moved to this building, we moved up here in June of 2021. And so that was really our first Christmas here anyway. We had a very sparing Christmas. You know, after our house burnt down, there was a lot happening then. It was too soon after that. So we just had a small tree and not very much of anything. But once we moved here, I did a lot of shopping at this thrift store and bought a lot of Christmas ornaments. And even the big tree that I have now that we actually got 2 years ago, well, we actually got in 2023, so a little over 2 years ago, that my mom got for us. The tree is huge. It is like it's a 7.5 foot tree. And we had plenty of ornaments to put on it, actually, because I had bought so many ornaments. I didn't even end up putting them all on it. So anyway, I really like going to this thrift store. They have clothes. They have just literally, you know, all kinds of things, kind of like Goodwill. But their prices are more reasonable than some things at Goodwill, I will say anyway. Although our Goodwill in our area is not bad compared to what I've seen online, where some of the ridiculous prices that they have on things, it's a little bit much. I don't love going to Goodwill. I do like occasionally going there, and I do like getting some things from there. But I really like this thrift store because the part of the proceeds from this thrift store actually go to a domestic violence organization. And so I really like that. And this specific organization has helped me a lot in my life personally. Originally, when I could not get a therapist, I went to them because I just needed help. And actually, it was funny because my husband said to me, I don't know what you think they're going to do, how they're going to help you, but they did. They did. I got in there to go every once a week basically to see someone and talk, just talk. And also then I ended up doing domestic violence training through them. So that was really good too. So I like supporting them. I was pleasantly surprised when we went in last week, and we like to look through books. My daughter loves to read. She has several different collections of books that she reads all the time. So she was specifically looking for certain things book wise, and I was looking for certain things. So we kind of just browse the books. We do this at Goodwill too, even though I generally don't find much at Goodwill. But I was pleasantly surprised because in the bookshelf that was all for crafting, they had quite a few books that were crochet and knitting, and I was really surprised because I've noticed, first of all, that finding knitting books seems to be like so much easier. I don't know why that is, but I find quite a few knitting books. Like a while back, I found one at Goodwill's, like brand new. I don't knit though. I would love to learn. My mother knits, or she did anyway, until she had her wrists redone. She had surgery on both of her wrists, and she's really not knitted or crocheted since then. So, but I would still love to learn. And I believe the knitting part, my mother was actually self taught. She started originally with crochet. She had an aunt that crocheted all the time, and she watched her and learned somewhat from her, and then picked up on her own and continued on. Of course, back then there was no internet. You just learned through books and that. So, and then self-taught herself the knitting. I think that's, in my opinion, I think that it's harder to learn knitting after crocheting, but I could be wrong about that, again, because I don't knit. But I have watched my mother knit, and I do understand, knit one, purl one, and those things. I don't know how to do it myself. I've watched her, and the thing of using two hands is where I'm like, I don't know if I could coordinate my hands to do that, but that's for in the future to see. I would like to try to learn anyway. So I did end up finding quite a few books. And actually, I'm going to show you this book real quick first, because I got a whole stack of books here. Like, literally a whole pile of books. So, I'm going to show you this first one. This is not knitting or crochet, but rather this is sewing. And I love sewing. And I would love to get this year back into sewing more. I have two different sewing machines currently. I have one that's like from the 1950s that's in a case that I want to take here shortly to a place that actually works on them. They clean them up and that kind of thing. It works. We plugged it in and it works. And that was actually given to me after the house burnt down. And then I have a treadle sewing machine upstairs. It's a old Singer treadle sewing machine with the table and all that. And that was because I had one in the house that my husband had bought me, and it was upstairs in the walk-in closet. At a point before the house burnt down, had redone that closet. It was actually like a pass-through, between two rooms. Originally, it would have been a closet between two bedrooms like this. But later in time, because my house was built in 1887, later in time, they took the bedroom over here and made it a full bathroom. So it was basically a bedroom, a closet, and then the bathroom. And it wasn't the master bedroom, but for quite a long time, at one point, we used it as the bedroom over here as the master bedroom, and it was super convenient because I had the walk-in closet with my clothes in, mainly, yes, my clothes that were hanging up because I had a lot of nice clothes and stuff, and then the bathroom over here, so it was super convenient. I loved that. But my sewing machine that he had bought me, the treadle sewing machine, sat in that closet. So, sadly, it burned up in the house. And when I say that, in the rubble of the house was the original Singer sewing machine. And I actually still have it because my husband grabbed it, and it looks horrible, y'all. It obviously cannot, I mean, it got damaged really badly and very heavily, but he pulled it out of the rubble because he actually cried and pulled that out of the rubble because it was very disheartening and heartbreaking to him that happened because he had just bought me that not long before that. So I hadn't even learned to use it yet. So since then, he has bought me another one. It was actually the Christmas right after the house burnt down, and I just really wasn't into it then. So since then, I've sat down and looked at it and kind of watched a video, but I kind of understand, but I don't, that's going to take, that is going to take some work. And actually, that sewing machine needs to be taken and have cleaned and all that stuff too. So I do definitely want to get back into that, though. I miss sewing. I love to make like pillows, like little throw pillows, tote bags and things. So, and I wanted to make blankets and whatnot. So it just, I would really love to get back into that. But I thought this was super cute. And this is my very vest dress. Now, the dress is cute, but I'm more interested in making the vest part. Now, the vest on this is actually part of, I don't know if you can see, yeah. The vest is only like the front part of a vest, and it's attached to the dress. The dress is cute. I mean, don't get me wrong. I would probably actually wear all that with like long black riding boots. But this is super cute. And it's not the only, this was 50 cents. And it's not the only pattern in this. It has this really cute little gingerbread one. And it has, that also has this Halloween one that's on the front. But if you flip through this, oh, that's cute too. Hang on. If you flip, okay, so if you flip through this, it shows you, but then it has, in other words, the pattern pieces, all the pattern pieces, these are all like, you would have to take this out, but so this is like the front part of the vest. So the pattern is all in here to do this. This one on the back, that is it's Easter. That's super cute too, with the little bunnies on it. I'm trying not to, there we go, get into my light there. I've got the light on too, just in case for more lighting. But I thought that was cute. So for 50 cents, I lost all my books too. So that's, like, we were in there looking at this stuff. And I tell you, I cannot tell you, every single day, I either go to reach for something I used to have, or I think of something I used to have. And I'm like, It just, oh man, it sucks. Like, because, you know, it's like I want the stuff that I had, but, you know, some of which I can purchase back, some of which that will never happen. It like is irreplaceable stuff. So then I found this. It's called Blankets and Booties, 6 crochet sets. This is super cute. Now, I don't know if I'll ever like make crochet booties per se, but I was more interested in the blankets in here, to be honest, than anything. Look how cute this is. I mean, the blankets, like the one on the back. The blankets can be, you know, you can make those as baby blankets. The heart one I just showed you. I mean, you don't even have to make these as baby blankets. That's different. I wonder what that's called. Because that looks similar to a regular granny square, but different. That looks slightly different. I'm going to try to do that. But what I'm saying is you don't have to make these as baby blankets. You can make these as regular blankets, like bigger blankets or whatever. You can take some of these stitches out of these and make like garments, literally tops and stuff to wear. So, you know, it's stuff that gives you like this. I could see this like being made into a top, that pattern. So that's why I got this. I mean, again, this was 99 cents. So so it's got some neat stuff in it anyway. Even if I only used like a couple of these, I mean, obviously even if I only use one, it's worth the 99 cents, you know. And I could make some baby booties. Those are super cute. I don't need any, obviously, but I could make some to sell. So then I got this heirloom Afghans for a baby. 50 cents. This is beautiful. That's on the front of there. This is a little thin one. This is by Leisure Arts. Back in the day, we used to find these like at Walmart and such. I used to have quite a few of them, but they were not specifically crochet. But I did have ones that were crochet. I did find, I'm trying to think where that was. Somewhere I saw a little one that I had bought from Walmart years ago that was baby blankets, and I did have that in the house. I can't remember where I saw that recently. But anyway, it's not very much in this, but here again, this is like ideas and things for, I can't hardly flip the pages, y'all, for like, you know, making bigger blankets and that. These are really pretty. And these are kind of more lacy looking, but again, really, really pretty. Now, see, this is one though too. I looked at like this pattern here. You could make this into a top. I'm trying not to have the glare from my light, but so I thought that was cute for 50 cents. This I want to flip through. This is actually an old Better Homes and Gardens Quilts and More. I didn't even know, y'all, they made a Quilt and More. I didn't know they made a quilt magazine. I am obsessed with Better Homes and Gardens magazines. Woman's Day. There's another one I'm thinking of. There's several. I have stacks of older magazines. On the other side of this wall, there's a giant shelving unit. And I have weeded through and got rid of a bunch. Yes, that was hard to do. I did that actually like last spring or the spring before. I still have a bunch though. And they're just Woman's Day or Better Homes and Gardens or like remodeling magazines or whatever like that. There's none of them that are crochet. I never had any crochet magazines except for in the house before it burnt down. But I never had any up here. The magazines that are all up here is because I brought them up here years ago because I would sit and read them and look at ideas and whatnot while I was up here doing stuff. I actually used to have yard sales up here in this very room. So I did that like all the time. And so I would have these magazines. And then the newer ones that I've gotten since then, of course, are up here because I live here. So I've still got oodles. And then my mother has brought a bunch up here, y'all, to recycle. She brought probably like 20 or so here a while back, 2025, to throw in my recycling can out here. And I turned around. I went out there to put something out there or something, or to see what she threw in there. And so then I got them all out and I went through all of them. Now, I did not keep most of them, but I did keep like half of them because I was like, why'd she throw that in there? She knows I will hoard those. I can't help it. It's like I love to read that stuff and look at it. So I bought this, and this was 50 cents. And I've always been interested in quilting. And there again, this has patterns in it. Now this pattern that it's showing here, I'll show you what this is for, because it's not all just quilting that's in here. I mean, it is and it isn't. I guess these are quilted, but it's not just blankets is what I'm getting at. Okay, there are beautiful blankets in here. I'm trying to find the beginning of this part so I can show you. But like this, I could literally sit down and just hand sew these. Those are so cute. They are Christmas ornaments called Forest Friends. So there's that. But there are, yes, there's quilts in here. I'm trying to find somewhere here. I just saw it. There was some pillows. There is a tote bag pattern. This is super cute. Obviously, Christmas is over, but there's always next year, That is super cute. That's a pillow. There's actually there's two pillows there. So I love the idea of that. I think that is super adorable. So I thought, for 50 cents, I'm getting it. Like my daughter, like this. This was something I was interested in too, like to make the tree. There's just a pillow at the bottom, but that's like the tree that's on the front in the quilt. Super cute. Here is another thing. This is a table runner. This looks like something I would have had. Well, I did have some at home, but a quilted table runner. Really cute. So it's just got a lot of little cute things, and of course, oh, that's cute. I didn't even see that before. So it's not just quilts. It's pot holders. So I thought that was cute. And then I got 63 easy to crochet pattern stitches for 50 cents. Now I really like this because it shows all these squares in this blanket and they're all done in different stitches, which is super cute and fun. However, you could take and translate this. This again is not very thick either, but you can take and translate these into making garments with these stitches. A regular full-size blanket. It shows all these different stitches. I mean, there's literally, I was looking through this the other night after we finally found it, the books, that is, and I'm super excited about this book because it literally has 63 different stitches in it. And so that gave me, you know, um, stitches to look at that I hadn't heard of before, and I was reading how to do them and different things and stuff that, but again, can be garments, blankets, whatnot, you know. And so I'm super excited about this book. See if I'm having trouble turning the pages, but the directions in this book actually reminds me of one that I had that came from my mother that like had single crochet. It had all the basic stitches, and it had single crochet, double crochet, treble crochet or triple crochet, half double crochet, which is how I learned like how to do those stitches, not the single crochet. My mother initially taught me that, but then I taught myself how to double crochet, treble crochet, half double crochet from that book. And so that it literally tells you how to do these stitches. It's very simplistic, and I love books like this. I think that this is it's really makes it easier to work with and understand when the direct, you know, the instructions are very clear. Lacy wave stitch, star stitch, crossed puff stitch, aligned puff stitch, up and down stitch, which I've never heard of, picot stitch, palm leaves, ripple stitch, crossed ripple stitch, raised ripple stitch, fan trellis, fan and popcorn, cluster braid, popcorn diamond, fan stitch, diagonal popcorn, popcorn braid, twin stitch, V-stitch. Some of these, yes, I recognize like V-stitch, but a lot of these other ones I don't. Eyelet lace stitch, boxed shell stitch, block and offset shell stitch, simple shell stitch, alternate spike single crochet, check stiff, I think that's supposed to be stitch, climbing shells, cross stitch, flower square, slant stitch, aligned shells. I mean, it just goes on. So there's a lot packed within this small book for 50 cents, basically. So I'm excited about that, taking some of those out of there and making into other things. I already looked at a couple that I thought would be like great to do summer tops with this summer. I'm like super excited about making summer tops, y'all. I guess it's because my mind is like, please, let's just get through this month and next month, and let's start, you know, warming up, because I think that we were having a rough January. And we had a rough January last year and the year before. And I specifically remember both those Januaries for different reasons, but also because of the cold. So there's lots of cool, you know, stitches in that. Like I said, I'm super excited about that. Now, the last two books I got here are knitting books. And yes, I don't knit. However, I'm gonna look at this one first. This is literally 50 fabulous scarves to knit. Now, obviously I don't knit, but I would love to learn to knit, and there is some really cool. This is like brand new for $1.99, but I'm dreaming, so to speak. Although it gives me other ideas of things like that. Now, you can do a similar thing with crochet. Cables. I've never done cables before. I don't know if you've done cables. Have you ever done cables? But this cow here has a really pretty big old cable. Really, really pretty. But it, and then, hang on a minute. Chunky neck warmer, but that's basically a cow. Dual stitch scarf. Mosaic scarf. That's pretty. So some of this can be translated. If you like something in this book, you could maybe try to replicate it in crochet. Would be one thing. Obviously, there is such a thing as mosaic crochet. but ideas, maybe colors. I love, like, for instance, this is what drew me to this too, was this is on the cover. I love the colors in that scarf. So even though I can't actually make that scarf in knit, I can replicate that. Oh, I love the gloves too. That's super cute. They match the scarf. Um, but I could replicate that in crochet. It wouldn't look exactly the same, obviously, but I really like that. I might actually do that. It's called Sideways Garter Scarf and Mitts. Cable, there's another cable scarf. It's done a little differently. Let's see. Ooh, that's pretty. Now this is something else. Quick knit scarf. This is something else that you can kind of do a similarly in crochet. Very pretty. This is pretty over here. But, you know, I might eventually learn how to knit, and then I could use this. I thought, oh my gosh, this is something else. This is something else. So you could either knit the scarf, and you could actually do this on a knitting machine, this scarf here. I know you could. Or you could actually replicate this. Again, it wouldn't look perfectly the same, but it gives you the idea that how you know, you could do a similar thing in crochet. I think that is so cute. So lots and lots of ideas. This is really pretty. Again, you could do a similar type thing in crochet. Do any of you knit? That's a question. Because like I said, I don't, but I would love to learn. And speaking of loving to learn, so I've been watching Fiberflux. I've watched her for quite a long, I probably watched her for 3 years or whatever now. And she always does great tutorials, very instructional and easy to understand. But I didn't even know till the other night when I was watching her, she has a knitting YouTube now too, how to knit. So if you want to knit, you might check that out, because I subscribe to it. I want to see if I if I can learn how to knit, y'all. But like this short row scarf, you can definitely replicate. That's this one here. You can definitely replicate that in crochet, but I wouldn't think that would be hard to do even in knit, personally. I don't know. I don't know if it has... That's one thing I don't see, is like the skill level of the pattern. Don't know. I really... Now here's something for sure you can replicate too and crochet pretty easily. This type of a thing, scarf. So regardless, like I said, if I only use it for ideas and whatnot. See, that's cute. Ideas, colors, whatever, inspiration, you know. At $1.99. This is beautiful, by the way. I think that is gorgeous. So anyway, it's worth it. $1.99. I mean, that didn't kill me. We went in there, and I told my daughter before we went in there, I said, $20 is going to be our budget for today, because we're, you know, just trying to keep things reasonable. I had to pay for food out that day and gas, and I'm just like, $20 is going to be our limit. And we did so good, y'all. I was so proud of us, because we only spent a little over $11. I got all these books. I got one more to show you. But she also got a book that was one of the Warrior Cat books, which is one of the series that she reads. Great big book like this, almost like new, for 99 cents. And then she got a puzzle for 99 cents. And the only other thing that I got a set of earrings. I'll show you. I bought some earrings in there before too, because somebody like makes earrings and puts them in there, and they're only like $2.99, $1.99, you know, and they're really cute. And I lost all my jewelry, so I've been trying to like slowly get a pair here and there. So the last book I have to show you is called Knit Simple. This is a magazine, actually. Now there again, obviously I don't knit. But what's cool about this, I'm glad I actually like looked at it kind of more in depth, because there is some crochet in this book. It's not all knit. So obviously there's knit within this, but I'm trying to find like really quick. Again, you can always use these magazines for color inspiration or design inspirations or that type of thing. Like this, you could do something kind of similar to that. If you like the look of that, you could do something very similar to that in crochet, because I believe this is, I know it is, it's knit. Yeah, K1, P1, knit 1, purl 1. Yeah, it's knit. Okay, so I'm trying to find, there was a top in here. Okay, this top here, the red top, I really like that. Now, I would not make with these tassels on it and all that, but I was looking at that, I'm like, I really like that, that's cute. It's crochet. So the pattern for this is in here. So you flip, it's got all these pictures in the front. This is knit. This is not crochet, but you can, again, you can create something very similar to that. I'm trying to think, is that, yeah, this is adorable. So the top I'm interested in, but now look at this little crocheted poncho. Isn't that adorable? I think that is so cute. Like, that would be adorable over a dress, or a top with a skirt, or like even a top and a pair of jeans. Like, I mean, obviously when it's warmer, not 24 degrees, y'all, okay? But I'm ready for spring. If you haven't noticed, spring and summer, like, come on. But yeah, I want to make that. That is just so cute. I really like that. So it shows you all the pictures in the front. And there's a section shows you how to make tassels. If you don't know how to make tassels, it shows you step by step how to make tassels. And then they show the tassels as being made into necklaces. That's cute. So I'm going to flip to the back here. See, it even shows in here how to crochet a granny square. I'm just trying to find here. Okay, so here's where the patterns start. They have like all these pictures of the tops, blankets, whatnot in the front, and then you flip towards the back is all the patterns for all this. So super cute. I like this little skirt, although I would do this differently. I've been itching since 2 years ago to make a skirt, but I have an idea on that. It's different than this, but this is cute. If I was to make this and wear it, though, it would have to be way, like, that's too short in my for me. So, but that's crochet. This is crochet. That's a simple poncho there, granny stitch. Simple. I've done one of those. I would like to make myself a couple of those, even though, like I said, I've already done that. I have to refresh myself on that. But the pattern, it don't matter. The pattern's in here. And now that I can actually read patterns, I don't know what it is, but ever since I pushed and pushed last year to start like trying to read a certain pattern, I kept trying to read it and I got through it. Then I don't know, it's funny because I've gained confidence with that, because I don't even think anything about it anymore. When I download a pattern or whatever, or I look at a pattern, I don't even think twice about like, oh, I can't read this pattern. You know, it's funny how that works. So I clearly, even though I didn't even realize it or whatever, I've gained confidence in reading patterns which, so that's one thing that I learned in this last year is, you know, reading patterns. And I've been doing, that's why I kind of went through a spell there, and I kind of go back and forth with this anymore, where like I'll watch YouTube videos on how to do certain whatever, you know, a certain item or whatnot. But like if it's something that I have a written pattern to, I go back and forth. Like I have stuff now that is just written pattern, and I'll just sit down and work on that while I'm watching something else or something. So I like being able to do both now, because I had such a like juggernaut with that in the past, where I literally believed I will never be able to read a written pattern. And thankfully I can do that now. So I'm not going to say I never have a problem with a pattern. Sometimes, obviously, but the point is I work it out, I figure it out, and I move on, and I've been able to keep doing that. So, and then, but that's kind of like the same attitude I had years ago. I remember thinking about making wearables, and I really, man, you know, always wanted to make myself a sweater, and I always thought, oh, I'll never be able to do that. It's way too complicated for me. And I mean, I'm not perfect at it by any means, but the point that I can do it is such like, it's such a good feeling and an achievement to feel like it gives you the confidence to do more and more different things. So this says drop stitch. Drop stitch tank. I like that, but I don't remember, is it, oh, it's knit. You could definitely similar. I don't like how this is. I need to find the picture to show y'all that. I wouldn't do it that way, is what I'm saying. But that's the beauty of it. You can do stuff however you want to do it. I'm trying to find the picture of that. That is not it. I like that too, but that's not it. Here it is. Yeah, I don't like how that's got the like, it's like almost like strings. It running through it at the bottom. I wouldn't have it like that, but that's just my personal, that's my personal opinion. Is that looks like that's crochet. Hang on. You don't want the buttons. It's not, but now you can do this. I pretty much know how you could simulate that in crochet. This poncho over here is knitted, which is cute. And then they have little baby stuff, which is so cute. Oh my gosh, I can't stand it. Like, those are adorable. Adorable. And little baby sweaters. So anyway, for 50 cents, you know, that was worth it. So I ended up 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I got 7 books, y'all. 7 books. And I'm trying to think what I had spent, because I had this figured out. That's $2.99, $3.99, $4.99. Okay, so I spent $5.49 on all these books. So I didn't think that was bad at all. I mean, heck, you go out and buy one new book, and that's way more than $5.49. So I was pretty pleased with that. So it's starting to, the sun has just faded away. I hate that. It's like the in-between, y'all. It's not like getting dark yet, like dark. But it's like, I'm thinking about it. I'm going away. The sun. I don't like it. It's like the in-between before it gets dark. It just looks gloomy now all of a sudden. So it's time for me to end this. I will see you in the next one. I am working on something anyway. I should be back tomorrow is what I'm saying. I want to thank you so much for watching. I truly do appreciate it so very much. Let me know how you're doing. Is it cold where you're at? What's the weather look like? See you next time. Bye now, and God bless.